Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Ivan Files. Today we're going to talk about something, and we have a guest today, as Janine
Hello?
here, and oh, you're not a guest, are
No,
you? No.
I'm a
Good,
fixture here.
good morning. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So, I don't have sheets today, but we can talk about it. There's three things to consider. One of them is that women are more emotionally stable and they're more emotional than men. And the second one is that men are more emotional than women, which doesn't make much sense, does it? And the third one is that there is research to show that the emotional um, response of both men and women is about equal. Now, and with that, then why do women seem to stick out like a sore thumb almost with emotionality? And men consider that. And women often consider men as being, oh, stonewallers and not really coming forth with their feelings and stuff like that. So here we go. What do you want to say about all that?
Icarus is flying close to the sun today.
I was going to ask what you think, yeah.
Icarus, yeah.
Icarus is flying close to the sun
Yeah,
today.
he's gonna melt his wings.
Does Sharon watch these podcasts? Ugh.
Do you believe that you've
should
been an
do.
emotional male? You.
Who?
You.
An emotional person?
Have you been an emotional male? You broke it up into male and female, so have you been an emotional male?
When I'm working on my computer, I'm an emotional male, yeah.
Why is that? Does it make you angry?
Yeah?
Does it make you angry? Is that what kind of
Well,
emotion
I
you're talking
try
about?
to stem that, but it does when it doesn't work like it's supposed to, yeah.
Same though.
But,
Computers irritate me.
Mark Bording has helped me with that a little bit, so that'll work. The answer to your question is at times, yes, very emotional. When I was a kid, I was emotional all the time, seemed like, and it was very difficult for me because I was a very shy kid, and so, how about you?
Me, I'm extremely emotional. I don't know if it had, I think the word emotional can be misunderstood though too, right? Emotional can seem like a negative. I personally don't think it is a negative. I think if you keep your emotions in check, you can deliver your message. But I don't know if it's male and female as much today as it is how the person's built,
Or raised.
raised.
I think that relationally, women might be considered more emotionally engaged. But I think it depends on the relationship. Socially, if you look at like male friendships, I don't know. There can be a lot of emotions between males and their friendships. Just I think that women vocally express emotions better.
Women do?
I think so.
Well, until a man
Yeah,
is
I think
willing
that-
or able to.
How come that is? How come that is that women can express their emotions? It's said that they can, at least.
And I'm not saying like without training. Like I think that anybody can learn how to express their emotions. I think that women have an easier time from the get-go.
Oh,
I'd like some clarity though. We're saying emotions. Are we referring to feelings? What do you mean by emotions?
I think it would probably boil down to feelings in a discussion, as opposed to, well, we could tackle it from the standpoint of biological or neurological things, but somebody's playing
No,
Yeah.
just get a call.
It's, and we're not talking about that necessarily, although the research may really deal with that, to say that, women and men are essentially the same when they, stuff happens and their brains get, although have come to understand that a woman's, thalamus is bigger than a man's, therefore, you should not ever try to out-talk a woman. Because they'll out-talk you every damn time. So what you do is you walk away from it, and it's hard to teach men that, is to, that women often are not looking for an answer, they're looking to get you the hell out of the way, and to let them have their say. And you better do that, because then that keeps peace in the family. If you don't do that, there's no peace in the family. It'll come back at you and get you. Now, did I answer your question?
No, not exactly, but I would say, one, I think the things that you're talking about are very gender heteronormative specific. So we are talking about a traditional family with a mother and a father and then a handful of children underneath it. And that may not be the way everybody operates in their relationships. I would say that women make children, right? And we can all agree on that. We produce them, we create them, we teach them to talk, we teach them their gender roles. And so if men have a different way of communicating their feelings, and if women or girls have a different way of communicating their feelings, it is primarily because how they were taught by their mother.
Well, that seems to be held up to a degree by the idea that it is a cultural thing that says that women express their emotions more than men do, which is what you're trying to say there. However, I don't know. I don't know if there's been research to show that men doing that could do the same thing. For instance, I want to bring up within men a gay family that has a child from very, very young, and would they learn the same sorts of things that they might learn if it was a mom and pop sort of thing?
I do think I see what you're trying to say here. And so I agree with Janine on that. A lot of how a person is emotionally, whether they're male or female, has to do with how they were raised and how emotion was accepted in their household and delivered to them by their parent. I would say gay, straight, probably doesn't have much difference, only because love is love, right? And if there's two mommies or two daddies, I don't know that would change necessarily how that child would emote, if that makes any sense. It's going to be how they were taught. So growing up, I'm your daughter, I would say you're not an emotional person, and that would be how I perceived you
That hurt his feelings.
being raised. Well, it shouldn't
See what
hurt
I
your
did there?
feelings,
Yeah, my
right?
feelings.
No, it shouldn't hurt your feelings, but that your generation, the men, really to show emotion was not a thing.
Yeah, right.
And then it's changed.
Movies show that too.
Right, and it's changed. Now, you go to my grandchildren and how they see us, they see us as very emotional, both Mark and I.
Uh-huh.
So I think some of it's generational. I do. I don't, but I think that the matriarchal person in the family is the one that trains emotion. I think emotion is a trainable thing.
I think that
Yeah.
people have to be taught to identify their feelings. And so we keep using the word emotion,
Well said.
which is a feeling,
Yeah.
okay? And if we're not taught to be able to identify it, which I believe a lot of the generations prior to us were not. I think your guys' generation is, you know feelings, and you're teaching feelings
Yeah.
and communicating them. But if you don't know them, you can't identify anger, sadness, selfishness, whatever the emotion is or feeling is, then how can you properly express it? And so it's not that we're all emotional beings. We all have feelings. It's whether we have the language to communicate it.
I think social media plays a big part in that, especially for probably closer to like our generations, just because we're offered bite-sized therapy lessons every day. I watch therapy every day. I know how to communicate. I don't like it when you do that.
That is aggressive.
That is aggressive.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah.
We know. We get the bite-sized lessons all the
Yeah.
time. You can't say, you say this because this is healthy. This is the opposite. This is unhealthy. Don't say this to your partner if you want them to listen to you. If you're talking about a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
Friendships can go the same way, but social media, I think, plays a big part in the reform of emotions, like as we progress in.
Yeah.
Like if we're looking at your generation versus mine, I mean, you're a therapist, so you know more than I do. But
I wouldn't say that necessarily.
but we have
I might.
we have more information available to us.
Definitely not.
Like we had more. As I was growing up, there was more readily available information at no cost.
Oh, absolutely. I just give you an example. Think what they supposedly teach, teaching psychology, was a little book like that when I took psychology.
The DSM?
What's he got?
No, the DSM was even smaller.
Oh,
than
now the
that.
DSM is like
Yeah.
7 volumes.
Yeah, it's like that
Wow.
now, yeah. But
DSM 5.
but to talk about that sort of stuff, it was just not that much really, and it was very laden with psychoanalytic terms and psychoanalysis and what they found out from that. But they've since found out, if you will, that psychoanalysis is not really the best way to go about therapy.
What do you think?
I'm not sure that's true, but according to Freud, it's not true. But according to Milton Erickson, it's partially true. I don't know. I shouldn't quote him on that, but it's there's a lot of behaviorists that have come along that talk about what you guys were demonstrating. Just being straight out with the terms and walking away and all that sort of stuff, which is healthier, but doesn't resolve anything. I don't
Well,
think.
but is there, if you're talking about feelings, emotions, but feelings, is it, do you have to have resolve, or do you just need that person to understand how you're feeling about it?
Well, that's the thing I wonder about with women, is that they're expressing themselves. Am I supposed to figure out how to resolve what it is that they're doing? Or is it that I just shut up and listen and
It's a good starting point.
and let them express themselves the way they want to express themselves, not requiring that they get a resolution from me, if I try to give a whole bunch of resolutions, that's not gonna be very productive at all.
Can I offer some advice?
Sure.
I would ask, would you like some resolution from me, or would you like me to just listen?
Yeah, it depends on the person.
Yeah, some people just want to be heard,
That's right.
Some
and
people want a
some people
solution.
do want a solution, so you can always
Yeah.
ask.
Oh, yeah, they'll tell you if they want a solution.
Absolutely.
What do I do with this, you know?
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think my generation of women has only woken up to, and I mean, I can't speak for you, obviously, but we've only recently, 10, 15 years, woken up to the fact that it's okay for us to express our feelings, right? Because when you're raised under a, you know,
Lid.
little bit, a little bit of a lid on how you're feeling, and don't necessarily need to share that with the world. So it's been a recent wake up for like me that it's okay to express how you feel about something. Maybe you're not looking for resolve, but you need to understand that maybe the way I'm functioning within a situation is because of these feelings I'm having. You know?
I guess so.
So you don't understand that.
Say it again.
The way that I may be functioning in a situation could have to do with the way I feel about it,
Oh, yeah, right.
basically.
I would love to see this conversation evolve from gender specific to being maybe more generational.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think regardless of our gender, we as humans are evolving to know our feelings, communicate them in a more healthy way, as opposed to putting a lid on it or waiting until it explodes. That might not be so gender specific anymore,
Generational. It is generational.
which I think Ellie that was part of what I was hearing you say. What do you think about that?
Well, what do you think about that?
What do I think about that?
Yeah.
Well, I think Janine is onto something in regard to, you know, these newer generations better understanding their feelings and acting upon them. I think that, you know, the last generations before would divide a gender and say women are more emotional than men. And I don't think that fits any longer, because we have as a society have evolved to a place where every action we take as human is emotionally driven for one reason or another. The reason I go to work every day is to fulfill for my family and provide support. That is fulfilling an emotion that I have inside of me to act. Historically, we would say, okay, you have an emotional argument, but I would on the counter say, if we're taking that historical couple generations back perspective, you got to think about the role of the quote-unquote woman of the household. Her goal was to run an ecosystem of a family while the husband went and worked all day.
Mm-hmm.
So she, because of her main focus being, I'm going to maintain this family unit, they had to be more emotionally in touch with what was going on around them. And then when the husband comes back after a 12-hour day, he's tired and wants to go to bed, but then there's this emotional buildup and what's been going on, and then all of a sudden we're painting everybody in this light where women are more emotional
Right.
than men. I think you can take a lot of character studies and look at, like, I'm listening to this podcast about Johnny Carson right now. And Johnny Carson was one of the greatest entertainers that the world has ever seen. And he got to the end of his career, and his mother died. And he was already famous, very big at this time. And essentially his reaction to that was good riddance. His mother never supported him or told him that he did a good job. So the reason he became the best in the industry was because he had this emotional response to not being seen by his mother, and therefore had to get the applaud and affirmation from the entire world. And at the end of the day, he never got that from his mother. So the emotions in that individual, you're going back 2 generations, they're still there, but they manifest differently. In that he's not going to his therapist and telling the world, hey, I feel sad today. He's putting his head down
Yep.
because that's the way that he's coping with his emotion.
Well, you're getting into the field of psychology pretty deep there.
I think it's hard to paint it in one way or another because what we see is like these people that are ultra successful aren't in touch with their emotions. And you can pick them. Elon Musk, I
Well,
mean,
first
pick them.
one.
Any titan of industry
The musky man.
has a broken home because they're not
How about Henry
fulfilling.
Ford?
I don't know
Nazi-
enough
Nazi
about.
Ford?
I don't know
What did he
enough
say?
about Ford,
He was
but
a Nazi.
How
But you
about-
know, Janine's right, this
Somebody
is
say Donald Trump.
generational, not male, female.
Yeah, how
It's
about George
generational.
Burns?
We wouldn't know, but you know, it is generational, and I think,
Or dead,
I think that,
dead people,
yeah, we don't know how dead, nope, don't know that.
yeah.
But, you know, have you struggled being emotional? Or
Yeah.
feeling?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the generation above you absolutely had a difficult time with that.
Your parents.
You had a difficult time with it.
My father probably did,
Yeah.
yeah.
Your children have had a difficult time with that, but they have grown from a couple of them. But, you
She's talking about family now.
yeah.
well, I think that you also, like you talk about generational, like you think about the world wars where a lot of the men went off to war
Yes.
and saw the most tragic scenarios in the world, right? Like
Right.
you're seeing your comrades fall in battle in the most gory manner that you can imagine, and then you come back and want to talk about feelings. And like you can understand the frustration there
Yep.
where it's like, I'm sorry you're not happy, but also like I just went through this traumatic stuff that I'm still not coping with. So it becomes like this imbalance based on history. I just
Yeah.
being in touch with your feelings and emotions, male or female, is important. And I think it has not been a priority in generations past.
Yeah.
Ellie?
What about?
do you think?
What about, what the hell was I gonna ask? Hang on, go ahead.
What do you think,
What do
Ellie?
you think, Ellie?
I mean, if we're talking about if we're talking about World War II, what makes see, this is gonna come off really bad, and I'm
No,
gonna say it anyway. What makes the experiences like what makes? I understand seeing people die is very traumatic. I'm not saying that it's not, but what makes those experiences more valid of emotional repression than everybody over here working to make the world go round? Everybody dropped everything that they were doing and had traumatic experiences as well. Women went to work. Women had to stop taking care of their babies. Women had everybody over in America.
I don't think it does.
So, but like that is what happened though. It was
Right.
men came back from war and they were like, I'm not talking about anything. My experiences were traumatic, and women are over here like, so were mine. Why don't you want to talk about it?
So does that support the thesis that women are more in touch with their emotions?
I
If
am
they
of,
also went through a traumatic scenario?
oh, and then like look at all the people who lost their partner, like everybody who died.
Well, I mean, let's face it. You know, you build a family and half of the leadership goes off to war. You still have to manage everything,
And that's traumatic.
which is traumatic in its own
and
way.
you don't know
Yeah.
if your partner died. You don't know if they're gonna come back. You don't like that's traumatic in itself.
Mm-hmm.
So then I don't know. See, that's like psychological.
But that's a
like,
good point because there's trauma on both sides there,
And so
and I
what
think that's
makes
valid.
your experiences more real than mine to the point where you don't want to talk about it? I think, and this is just my personal opinion, I do think that women are more in touch with emotions. I think that men have to work harder at it to be good at it. I'm not saying that men are bad at it. I'm not saying that. I think that there are lots of men who are very good at expressing themselves and expressing themselves in a social and emotional setting. However, I think naturally, innately, women are better. We are more, our biology, our brains are more wired to have that emotionality and to express it more innately. I already said that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And culturally, it is safer for, we are allowed.
Yes, yeah.
Little girls are allowed to express their feelings, whereas little boys were like, don't cry. you're not allowed to
Yeah,
cry.
yeah, that's
And
right.
so we
That's
really,
certainly-
I think there's biology to it, but there also is socially, that is how we raise genders.
That's true. Yeah, I'm really only talking about America, because that's, yeah, like,
Yeah.
as far
That's
as other
true.
countries
Yeah,
go.
those
Yeah.
are-
I'm not super sure, but we were, I think, in America, yes, raised where women are, we're gonna take care of the children, and like, especially in like, I'll talk about the 1900s, it was.
But I do think women were also made to feel from their partner that they, you know, a lot of times we just need our emotions or our feelings validated. That you heard me, like you said, you heard me, you understand where I'm coming from. But then we don't necessarily need to place upon them an expectation of understanding what we're trying to explain to them. We just need you to hear it.
But that's the
You need to
case
hear
with
it.
anybody, like if I call you, right, and I just need to vent, I'm not looking, unless I ask, I'm not looking for a solution.
Mhm.
So that should be across the board, like I was saying last night,
Yeah.
look for the question marks.
Yeah.
You know, if I think we all wanna be heard, people want to be heard, and that's not gender specific.
Yeah.
I do think it is. I think that the generational aspect of how pretty the generational aspect of that is. I think there's a lot.
Lot
is
to
just
that.
A lot to the I think that there is a biological aspect. I think that a lot of it is cultural. I think it's a multifaceted and generationally developed idea, emotions, and because you have all. I follow this guy on TikTok who. He's literally, it's a man, and he's probably, Shelby, probably your age.
Young
30s.
man.
Young man, yeah.
Young man.
Vibrant.
Just
And-
hitting his
My
stride.
age is young man.
Yes, you're a young man. But he has the best, like, he understands emotions. He
Yeah.
understands them, and he likes to tell people, this is how you should, and every time I watch something, and I think it's universal, all of his comments are like, man, I love listening to you because you hit the nail on the head every time.
Do you wanna name drop him?
Yeah, I don't know his name. I just know his face.
The emotions guy.
Sorry, Gaia.
The relationship. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll have to find him. But and so like it's a man speaking about emotions and feelings and like
Well, but I think until recently, the general credibility of what a man says is greater than the credibility of what a woman says. And it's been held that way for a long time. And then, but it is, as you say, it's breaking loose.
I think men think that.
More CEOs, there's more scientists, there's more, you know, doctors have come a long way just to be physicians in this country at least.
See, and
Well,
I
women
don't
have only
know.
been
Like,
open to-
I would push back on that. Like, what drives anyone to be a CEO? Like, I really think that if you're going to make life work, if you're going to make your entire existence about work, male or female, there's probably some emotional baggage that you're pulling along to seek that responsibility and that stress.
But women, give me the year, I know you'll know it. Women have only been allowed to speak for
Well, when do we get the vote?
75 years,
2019.
75, 80 years. Is the,
Wow.
we weren't
Well,
allowed to speak.
White women.
White
Black
women.
women didn't get the
What
right
black
to
women
vote
didn't,
until
or
the
Indian
50s.
women, or excuse me,
75
indigenous,
years.
or,
Right.
but women hadn't been allowed to speak prior to that.
Right.
owning property.
So really, in a short amount of time,
Right, having credit cards, I think until the 90s. I
yeah,
think that's right.
but having, in that short of a time, you know, because that is a very short time, I think that we've come a long way, women have.
Women couldn't vote
Right,
till 1922. And they
1922.
couldn't legally hold property
Right.
without their husband's consent, that sort
Right.
of thing, which,
So that's 100 years.
is that 100?
But I do want to
I
specify
thought it is 100 years, isn't it?
that white women couldn't vote until 22. Black women didn't get the right to vote until the 50s.
Till when?
Black
50s?
women didn't get the right to vote until much, much later. So white
In
women,
Africa or here?
Here,
no, in the
Here.
United States,
segregation, man, until the 50s.
yeah.
early
So it
into the
wasn't all
60s.
women.
No,
Not all
what-
women.
that's not in the Constitution, is it?
What?
We weren't
Doesn't
in the
matter. We were in
Women
the
weren't in the
Constitution.
Constitution.
All men were created equal.
Yeah.
There is no woman in
Yeah.
that.
But black women, why were they different than white women?
Well, because
I
of
mean,
our,
Welcome to the
I know
United
how
States of
they're
America,
different,
sir.
But, you know,
You lived it. What do you think?
yeah, you totally lived it.
I wasn't there.
well, you said they couldn't vote when white women could vote.
Right.
Where'd you get that?
It's true. With segregation and all that didn't break apart until,
Well, yeah,
I mean,
that's true, but in differentiating between black and white women, I don't think there was a legal differentiation.
a black woman could not go in and vote in 1922. She had no say.
I don't know if that's true or not.
It's totally true, Dad.
How about,
Historically,
how about in Africa?
well, we're
Oh,
not
we'll
talking
talk
about
about
Africa.
Africa.
Oh,
Because that's a continent that has many countries, so they all have different laws.
but do they have different feelings?
No, feelings are feelings. Human
Yeah.
beings are human beings.
Yeah.
How they are able to express it.
Are you
maybe.
right? When did black women get to vote?
Well, they get to vote now. But,
Black women were not able to fully exercise their right to vote until the passage of the Voting Rights Act of
In the
1965.
60s.
65, a year before I was freaking born. 60 years.
that's Lyndon Johnson,
And
Yeah.
white women got the right to vote in 1920.
1922, yeah.
August of 1920.
Oh, did it say that? Okay.
So yeah, that's a, I mean, talk
Okay.
about emotions.
Yeah.
Oh, get me
I
all
feel
riled up.
emotional.
So,
I
so
feel
that had to
emotional.
do with the credibility of women.
No, that was due to
against-
racism.
That was due to
No, it had
racism.
to do with credibility of women with, to men. If a woman was expressing herself in some legal way, then that would not be allowed in an argument with men about the same thing. That's what I'm saying.
But that goes to placing women in a box.
Oh, that's right.
You know,
That's what
so I
they
see
were.
what you're, I think I see what you're trying to say. It's not
Yeah.
coming off like you want it to. But what you're trying to say is back then, women didn't argue against men because they weren't held in the same level of respect as men. Today, they still are not. But, that is a fact. If we didn't get to vote till 1922, and that was supposed to be the opening of a respect thing.
Yeah.
We became a country in 1776. So
This-
over 150 years later, women were fine, right? Am I
Not-
doing?
not
Am I
great.
doing my?
Not great. Yeah, no, you're right, but
Not
not
great.
great. Not,
Let's
not,
call out
not a
numbers
great
how they
factoid.
are.
Not a great factoid. 150 years after the
Not great.
Constitution was
Not
written,
great.
we got rights.
The Constitution, the idea that men could vote and women couldn't,
White men.
goes clear back to Paracelsus or whatever his name was in Athens, where they had 90 years of democracy, they called it, except women couldn't do anything hardly except have children, take care of the home. That was it.
And are you telling me that women didn't have the? Whoa, we were getting into a totally different topic. Because of credibility?
No, they were a different animal.
Oh, I love that.
Uh,
Let's keep going down this road.
there were men and there were women, and they were put together differently, and women had a different job than men had, and men got to go to war,
Got to go to war.
sharpen their spears.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
generational
Does sound
though.
way more fun than staying home and being raped.
You don't have to go to war. You
Yeah.
get to go to war.
You
Yeah.
know, and being a slave.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
I
okay.
don't know.
Yeah.
Torture.
Going with option A.
Yeah, I can go drink at nighttime.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't die.
Yeah.
Make my bed.
In 92 years, you've seen a lot. And so it's going to be difficult for you to understand, I think, some of these changes because of how you were raised and how your parents were raised, and you're completely white, and so it's a difficult thing, I would imagine, for a 92-year-old that has seen all that to embrace the fact that it really was a bad thing that women didn't get to vote until 150 years after the Constitution was written. And today, women stand up for themselves, and some of those rights are being attacked
Yeah.
again. Most of those rights are being attacked again, to, in my mind's eye only, to be put back where they belong.
Oh no, that's not just your mind. A lot of people think that.
Yeah.
And that's a very
Large
tough
movement.
pill for women to swallow. That's why women emotionally are awake, and they are preparing for what is trying to be placed upon them.
What has been
Again.
coming for us? Rights over our own bodies. I'll just put it out there.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
So what are women gonna wanna do?
They are doing it.
We
They're
are doing
standing
it.
up. They are being loud. They
Peaceful
are.
protesting,
Yes, they are.
radicalization of ideas on social media. We
Mm-hmm.
spread the word. We do like everything. Not that it makes that much of a difference yet, but it will.
Make 5 calls, go to 5calls.com and call your representatives every single day or contact them on
Yeah.
5 calls.
That sounds like an
Calls,
emotional
calls.
response to me.
Download the app.
Is
5
it,
calls.
or is
Is
it?
it
Is it, or is it a response that is?
a response to oppression? Is it?
Yeah.
Would you fight for your rights if when you turned 16, you had to have a vasectomy so that you couldn't get people pregnant? Would you be upset at that?
Yeah,
If that were a law, would you be upset? Do you think most people would be upset at that?
why do you bring that up as an example?
In a roundabout way, not exactly the same, but I think the point that she's trying to make is they're telling you what you have to do with your shit.
Well, that happened in Germany
Yeah, yes, it did.
It's happening.
And
in
it's
the United
happening
States.
today.
with the Jews, yeah.
But, the interesting thing about the 92 and what's happening today, you could understand it in this example. You told them at Wesley you would not stay in long-term care facility. And the simple truth of the matter is, if my husband and I didn't fight for you, they could have done with you what they thought was necessary.
No,
Yes, that's
I
where
just-
you're wrong.
I just walk out of there.
You couldn't do it.
I'd limp out of there.
You couldn't do it.
I take a
So, but that
wheelchair
that
out
is
of there.
that is
He said, "I'll
that
start
same
wheeling."
feeling is happening to women today, again.
Uh-huh.
And unfortunately, there's a sect of women that are supporting that, and that's shocking to me. That it doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that I agree or disagree with abortion. That doesn't mean I agree or disagree with anything.
No.
But my right shouldn't be taken away from me. And so because I believe one way doesn't mean that it should take away from her doing what she wants to do with her body, or her with what she wants to do with her body. It doesn't mean shit, but they should be able to, because you two can.
Well,
That's what's weird. But you can't really put you in that same box, because you are a chick, kind of, a little bit. You believe in the right, and that's a
That's a good
compliment.
thing.
Is that a good
compliment,
thing?
yeah.
That's a compliment.
Welcome
Oh my
to the
gosh.
club.
Do I
Welcome
need
to
to
the
pass over
club.
my
Yeah.
man
Except
card?
you don't
Is that
have
what I
to
need to do?
bleed once a month.
You-
so
yeah.
you're getting the better
Yeah.
end of that deal.
But I do think that you're open.
Lucky.
You're an open mind.
You get
You're an
it.
open mind. Generationally, you're being surrounded by
Generationally.
people that are opening your mind, but you struggle with that, passing that barrier of just having an open mind.
there's a big factor that mitigates against women having the right to say what they want to say and do what they want to do, and that's the Bible. You have to remember that a whole big part of the country was raised on that Bible, and the meaning of it, which kept women, made men the
Leader.
patriarchs of the family, and women were subjected to. They were to raise the children, take care of the take care of the men, for that matter, and that is still going on.
I have a question for you, Ivan.
Huh?
I have a question for you.
I don't have any answers.
I think you might. Why have men for so long, we're talking the Bible now, so that's 2,000 years plus, why have men been so afraid of women?
In Greece, it was a man could not talk to another man about anything of dire importance in the presence of a woman. And do you know why that is?
Why?
Because they believe women had special powers.
No, we do.
Yeah.
So it's that we are too powerful for them. I believe this.
It's a protection mode for you guys.
That men have had to protect themselves by oppressing women because of our power.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's right,
Okay.
in part. Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
a big-
yeah, I mean,
that-
women
that's-
are half the
and
population,
mic drop.
right? So if you're trying to maintain your power in any scenario, why double the competition in
Yeah.
any scenario?
In the same breath, though, I believe that
Doesn't make it right.
I believe that men have their own powers. I think that somehow, somewhere along the line, it became that the natural strengths of men are more valued than the natural strengths of women. And that is what put them into a position of power, because I'm not gonna men have their own strengths that women do not have, and I value those just as much. For some reason, somewhere along the line, you're looking at women and you're saying, oh, they don't deserve to have a voice to talk. And I don't understand that.
I mean, to that logic, though, I think the scales of power have been tipping, right?
Slowly,
Yes,
but they
yeah.
are.
I mean, you go back in the day before, like, labor was much more of a in-demand piece of our society years ago than it is today, right?
I do fear that women, one of the reasons that there are some women that walk firmly with Bible in hand and this is wrong and this is right, is because I believe that women also, not these women, but want to really be accepted by the male. And
Do
jump
what?
on board, be accepted by the male and
Oh.
jump on board with their thought process so that they are accepted by these men in power, which can gain them power. And unfortunately, instead of standing up for what's right for our animal, you said different animal, instead of standing up what's right for our animal, they maybe are trying to ride the coattails of that animal to be a stronger animal. And that is what a problem is today, is that we have women that are really standing up for the wrong side of the team. And I don't think they understand that they are getting rid of 100 years of work.
Yeah. No, that will change. It
has
has to
to.
change because of the progress of the culture for one thing, and the progress of women for another. But remember that the male had upper body strength, which was a determiner of the strong members of the family. However, there's been a recognition for years and years and years of the verbal strength
Of the
a
female.
woman.
Yeah.
That's why a man should walk away from an argument.
Don't want to piss a woman off.
Yeah. And come back later. You know,
Today
hard,
it's different though.
it's hard to teach them that. Huh?
Today it's very different because the upper body strength isn't required in most industries today?
No.
No.
So
So-
they still have upper body strength.
They do have upper body strength. They're built different than we are. We have other strengths.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, they have, and that's a very frightening thing for men, to have to say, well, I don't know, this woman, seems to know what the hell's going on.
Do you think that's scary?
Well, if you're in competition of some sort, yeah,
Generational.
yeah.
So if we're talking about like what's an example? Like the presidency.
The what?
If we're talking about the presidency in the United States, do you think it's scary for men? Say emotionally scary for men to consider that sometime in the next decade or so, hopefully, we will have a woman in the executive office.
I think it's somewhat scary for a lot of men, but I think that's decreasing dramatically as the years go by.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. There's
You
been
don't think so?
I don't know. Like this up and coming generation,
Yeah.
there's there's been a resurgence of a lot of like gender, basically the whole comedy scene out of Austin right now is very much harkening back to the days of like,
The manosphere.
kind of, yeah, right? And we're kind of seeing that, and I hope it like comes and goes, but the fact that it saw a resurgence, especially in this last presidential election cycle, was baffling to me. Like, it was shocking.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would like to hope for humanity that that comes and goes, but I don't know. Like, it's present currently.
They are really pumping up the man right now. We watched Monday Night Football, and there were commercials about ICE. And go and get them.
What?
Go get them is what the commercial says, basically. Go, you want your country protected? Go get them.
That's on national television?
That was on national TV last night. That commercial ran in the amount of time I watched football, and I didn't watch the whole game, 3 times. So how many times did it really run? But that commercial, bottom line, said, you want to protect your country, go get them. And that is directed towards white men.
Oh, yuck.
They forgot what.
Hang on, folks. Things are going to get bumpy.
Yeah.
We're about to hit some turbulence in this country.
Oh, we've been in turbulence for a minute.
Well,
It was
seemed
shocking.
like the happenings of 2 weeks ago
But
or
make sure
last
that you
week
put
are
your
gonna,
mask on first and take care of yourself,
yeah.
and
Put
then
your-
help the person next to you.
I don't know. Well, if we circle
Planes
back
coming
to
in.
if we circle
Yeah.
back to emotions,
That's
just
scary.
like
Wrap it
this
up.
Wrap it
Yep.
up.
Perfect.
We learned a lot today. We
No,
learned a lot.
It's that obviously men are emotional because they're afraid of women.
That's
Fear is an
big emotion.
So I think that has led a lot of where we are today and the inequalities of our world. And I really appreciate you allowing me to come on and be a part of your podcast and the Ivan Files. And I
Glad to
hope,
have you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
I hope you found this conversation to be rich and,
Scintillating.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go women.
It's what?
So
It's
Marco.
what?
All right. Tip your hat, sir.
Yeah. Tune in to the Ivan Files. It's on, where is it?
It's on YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
What's your
it's
email?
on YouTube, and you can, there's a whole bunch of podcasts. Some of them make sense and some of them don't. And, you might be entertained by some of them, but tune in. Send us an email.
At theivan1933@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
And we may respond to it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.